Well, the FTC won't let Microsoft be, claiming that the company's hopeful acquisition of Activision Blizzard King would substantially lessen the competition. We're going to keep you in the know on all the details until this thing goes to court in August.
And the Summer Games Showcase is winding down, but we still have a ton of announcements that we haven't talked about. We're going to do it right now. Let's do it. Gaming News Weekly is ready to go. What's up, everybody? It's time for another episode of Gaming News Weekly, the best weekly video game news show out there. Every single Monday, we're bringing you all the biggest things happening in the video game industry. You can find us on Fruit Lab, YouTube, podcast services, just every podcast service. My name is E-Rock the Red. Every single week, joined by this guy right here, Full Clip. What's going on, dude? How are you?
What's up? Doing all right, but I'm not going to lie. I'm a little bit brain fried from preparing for this show off the back of last week's show. So many announcements, so many new games coming out, so many games being added to PlayStation Plus, everything. Yeah. You're going to say some games, and I'm going to be a drooling zombie over here acting like I've never heard of them before.
Yeah. So the huge, right? Yeah. No, it's a lot going on, man. Yeah, I don't know where my brain's just like all over the place. I was just telling you a minute ago, I like cut my tongue and I'm just trying to like form words properly. And I think it's hindering my my thought pattern, and I just can't, I'm flustered a little today. So I'm hoping, I'm drinking a beer. I'm drinking a beer today, hoping that it'll, get me in the space that I need to be. We'll see. Yeah. Otherwise, this could be a long night. What have you been up to? Anything fun?
Call of Duty Season 4, Modern Warfare 2, just came out. I've been hitting up the new maps, playing a little bit of hardcore on them. It's kind of same old when you're this far into a season of COD, and kind of wondering what's supposed to happen, because we were reporting on this probably, I don't know if it was even before the game came out, that they're not supposed to do like a new major release this year. It was somehow supposed to carry over, and we're going to get like a major DLC that costs like $60 of all the original maps from Modern Warfare 2. I don't know. It's getting strange, but they better do something quick to change this up, or it's going to get kind of boring fast.
It's getting stale. What were the new maps that were introduced? Were they new or were they classics?
One was a classic, at least. It was a showdown. It's kind of a strange, you've got a center square pit, and then you've got a second level, and you've got an outside of that. I think it's from the original Modern Warfare 2. Then the other one was new to me. I think there's a third one, but I haven't gotten it because it's just in random rotation.
Gotcha. All right, but you're still enjoying it for the time being, or is it a grind?
I'm still, overall, it's not even the new content keeping me there. It's just these seasonal events are kind of fun. So you've always got some challenges, like get 15 kills in a winning match. If I do that 40 times, I get a cool graffiti camouflage.
Nice. That's where it's at, giving you all those camouflages. I've been playing a lot of Diablo 4 still. Yeah. Still having a blast with that. But in between that, so last week we talked about some demos that came out. Lies of P demo came out. I played that I haven't finished the demo. I played it about an hour and a half. And I love it, dude. It is very much it's Bloodborne. It really is, dude. When we were watching the videos, I was like, man, this looks a lot like Bloodborne. I'm thinking it's going to be great. And playing it, it's come second nature, because it really is identical. A little scary how much they can borrow from other, games. But yeah, it's a lot of fun. I definitely recommend it for everybody. And then I played the Final Fantasy 16 demo that just came out on the PS5. That one I played that one for about an hour. I think it's a 2.5 hour demo, but that one, it's the beginning of the game. So it's like a lot of tutorial, a lot of cutscenes, very slow demo. But I did look to see if it does carry over your progress, so I wouldn't have to do it twice at least.
Yeah.
Like I played it. Yeah, I played it for maybe like an hour today, and very, very few like fights and stuff like that. It's really like slowly getting me into it, learning the characters and that sort of thing. And then I played one more demo. I played the demo of a puzzle game called Viewfinder that I was really looking forward to. And this game, if anybody out there likes puzzles at all, check out Viewfinder. It's amazingly well done. It plays with perspective. So it's like first person, but like depending on where you're, it's weird. It's hard to explain, but yeah, it's like there's points where you could take a picture of something and then place that picture and then walk through that picture to get to the next part. It's like really, really cool. But it's like really well done as far as the way it works, the mechanic of it all. So yeah, I've been having a blast with those, and I still have a couple demos I haven't played. I got the demo for WrestleQuest, which came out a couple weeks ago on Steam, and then I got another demo of a game. Oh, Beastie Ball. It's kind of like Pokemon meets volleyball meets a turn-based role-playing game.
Yeah. I think I saw the intro for that, or the trailer for that. So did Lies of P, unlike Final Fantasy 16, was it? Did it like sort of throw you in a little further into the game, or when you have some experience and upgrades?
I don't know where it threw me in. It seems like it was still the beginning, but it moves so much faster. Like you don't have it's still explaining the mechanics of the game. You don't have any, huge abilities or skills like that. It's pretty bare bones still. But I think that's just the type of game this is. It's kind of like a Souls game in that it really doesn't ever really tell you the story outright or explain itself. You have to figure it out as you go. Very different from Final Fantasy 16, where it's like you're just watching a movie and you get to, there's certain parts where you get to be part of it,
Yeah.
But yeah, try. I want to hear your take on it. Try Lies of P. The demo's out for everything. You can get on PC. Yeah, because it's a lot of fun. I didn't even get to the boss battle yet, which I'm like really excited to get in there and fight the boss. But yeah, that's maybe tonight. Maybe tonight. We'll see. All right, but enough about these random nonsense games. Let's talk about our new releases from last week. First up, this is another game that I got to play this week. It's called Layers of Fear. It came out June 15th on PC, PS5, and Xbox X and S. This is basically like the definitive edition of the Layers of Fear. Putting this so whoever is marketing this game is doing a terrible job, because the first game was called Layers of Fear, and that came out in 2016 or whatever. Then they came out with Layers of Fear 2. But now there's another game, and it's just called Layers of Fear, and it has all this stuff in it. At least put definitive edition or complete Layers of Fear. It's very difficult to understand.
Yeah, anyways, I sort of thought this was like a remix of the original, because I've never played the first one.
Yeah, no, this is everything. It's got the first one, the second one, DLC for both of them, and then a brand new story that was written to kind of tie things all together. That could only be found on this one. And it's like the next gen version of these games. So they're all upgraded. They're in Unreal Engine 5. They're rebuilt in. They got ray tracing, HDR, 4K. They look beautiful. It's about, I think the complete package is about 13 hours of spooky gameplay. But let me give you my thoughts on this. So I got in there. I played it about maybe 2 hours worth. And the game is gorgeous. It looks beautiful. It's real creepy, the whole aesthetic. There's one where you're in, it starts out, there's a new one where you're a lighthouse keeper in a creepy old lighthouse. One where you are a painter or in a mansion. Well, you're not a painter. You're trying to figure out this information about a painter in this mansion. And then another one where you're on a cruise ship and it's a movie set. Everything looks great. The sound is I played it with headphones on. Sound is amazing. It's like there's sounds coming from everywhere. It keeps that kind of spooky tone throughout the whole thing. And then when you go through, it's just puzzles, really. You go into a room, you've got to solve the puzzle to get out of that room and go to the next area. But what's really cool is, and they use it a lot. It's very cool at first, but they use it too much throughout this whole thing. You walk into a room and you're looking in one direction, and you're like, "Oh, this is a dead end. I got to go back the way I came." And then you turn around, and it's entirely different. So, however that works as a game mechanic and the back end of it, it's really, really well done, and it's really cool because you don't see anything happening. You don't see anything triggering the area that you just left becoming an entirely different area. So that's really cool at first. When the first couple times it happens, you're like, that's really cool. It's really well done. But then it happens repeatedly over and over. So it's like you expect it then. And it's not like the novelty of it has worn off. Besides me just constantly wondering, I wonder when it switches. That's always a fan of video games and how they make video games. I'm like, at what point do I trigger that room to switch behind me? Yeah. Anyways, it's just repetitive. And that's my problem with the game. Only 2 hours in, and it's already pretty repetitive. It's the same kind of things in every room. And it's spooky. It's got the noises and the, things are falling down over here and stuff. But it's not scary. I'm a baby about these things. And I'm going through and my heart's racing a little bit, and I'm a little anxious going in, but there's no real big jump scares. There's a few, and they are kind of failures. They don't really, you see them coming a mile away. So, all that being said, I would say if you're a fan of horror games, it's a good package. I don't know the price of this one. I got a review copy. I would say if it's any more than, I don't know, $30, maybe wait for a sale, because it does, it's really just, a lot of the same thing through and through. I plan on finishing it. I want to see it through and see what the whole story is like. But, yeah, I give it a meh.
Yeah. All right, so it's something I noticed that this one did not come out on the PS4 and the Xbox One. Right. You said it looked amazing. Is it overall as a package, does it justify not being released on the older consoles, at least as of now?
Absolutely. I mean, these games, minus the one new little story, they're out there on the PS4 and the Xbox One. So it's if you want to play them, you could probably get them real cheap there. And the graphics were never terrible. They did look, a little dated, and that's part of the problem with the 2016 one. You can't really play that one. It's dated as far as the scares go. It's a little rough around the edges. So going back, it's probably not going to be very scary. But this one with the rain effects and lightning and all the lighting, fantastic. I definitely they did a great job with the visuals of this thing and the sounds. Those are the two. Otherwise, the story is pieced together through things you find laying around or whatever. Narrative parts where you walk in a room and something starts talking at you, and sometimes the narrative parts are just so over the top, and I'm just really, this is the voice that you choose for this weird game? I don't know. But if you're a huge fan of horror games, check it out. Otherwise, wait for a sale. But it's got everything. It's got all the of fear situations in there. All right, moving on. F1 23 came out June 16th, PC, PS4, PS5, Xbox One, X, and S. What game did we play? 22?
I believe it was 22, yeah.
Has it really been
Showed
a year?
Our skills there, yeah.
I can't believe it's already been a year since we broke into the world of F1 racing and failed miserably.
Yeah, that was my retirement year as well.
I agree, yeah. But this one, it's getting great reviews. It's got the return of Breaking Point, updated UI. There's red flags return. I don't know what that means. It's got new cars, new racers, and the return of the Podium Pass, which is their battle pass. So all that good stuff in there. F1 23. If you love that stuff, go get it. And then last up, Park Beyond came out June 16th on PC, PS5, Xbox X, and S. This is a theme park sim management game from Bandai Namco, and this looks great. I had no idea what this was, even with like. So you put it on in the show notes for this week for under new releases, and I had no idea. Just based on the name, I was like, it never occurred to me that Park Beyond was a theme park builder, and I don't know why. And then I looked it up, and I was like, oh, this looks good. Yeah. It's very vibrant. The graphics look great. And then the more I dug into it, I was like, this is a really cool idea because you can. One thing they introduced is terraforming. So like you could build these giant mountains and have a roller coaster going around a mountain or like through these valleys. And then they have a thing called impossification, which is like it's like things that defy physics, but like you could earn these impossification points, which I hate saying the word impossification.
Yeah.
But you earn them and then like give like this roller coaster like this crazy, thing that wouldn't happen, that was impossible. So yeah. And there's a campaign, which is interesting for something like this.
Yeah. Yeah, what got my eye with this game, it looks just like an updated version of Roller Coaster Tycoon, or like, I don't even know the official names of the other ones, but like the Sim series. I liked playing those games back in the day, like early PC gaming, when anything ran on everything for the most part. But this is, I mean, yeah, like you said, graphically great. All the features are there that you could want and more probably. And it's looking pretty good.
Yeah, it really surprised me when I was like, man, how did this go under the radar? Because it wasn't even showing up on any of the sites that I use to get like some of these new releases. It didn't show up on any of them. And then I was like, what is this? And I looked and I'm like, man, this is crazy. It's definitely something that it looks like there's varying levels. If you wanted to be very difficult and create something like outrageous, you could do that, or you could just make simple like theme park, varying degrees. So like, my kid could play it. I could probably play it. I say probably play it because I'm terrible at these management games. Although he's playing some sort of theme park game on the iPad right now, and sometimes he's just too lazy to go around like collecting the money from all the different vendors. So I'll go do that and have a blast. So I'm gonna put this one on my wish list and maybe wait for a sale. Park Beyond. If anybody out there has played this, let us know if it's worth checking out. All right, that's it for our new releases from last week. We got to get moving. Let's talk about our news of the week. All right, real quick, we just got to talk about some of the showcases that we didn't touch on last week in our big showcase showdown. That's what we would call it, right? The showcase showdown. That's not used for anything. The Xbox Extended Showcase. So basically what this is, they do this every year. They have, they take a deeper dive into some of the trailers that they showed. They show some new stuff. Just real quick, what they showed at this Extended Showcase. They give us a deep dive into the new Cyberpunk 2077 Phantom Liberty with more trailers and more information about that. It comes out September 26th. We learned that High on Life is getting High on Knife DLC, which I'm really excited because the knife character in that game was the most absurd character in the entire game. It was very, very vulgar and very, very violent. So he's getting his own little DLC section. Very interesting.
I saw it pointed out that this is also Justin Roiland free DLC. So in case that's an issue for anybody.
Absolutely, yeah. And I just read today that the next 2 seasons, they got new voice actors, and season 10 was already almost done before the writer's strike. So like they're way ahead on this. They just got to record the voices, which I'm interested to see how they do. Sans Roiland, but yeah, we'll see. See what else looks cool. Avowed got a new extended look, which again, this was like one of my favorite games from the show, so that was really cool. You got to see more of that and more who the characters were in that game. The First Descendant is getting a cross-play beta. This is a free-to-play third-person looter shooter The beta comes out August 22nd to 28th. This one looks like a fun game. I'm always a fan of the looter shooters. Towerborn was a game that I was really into during the showcase. It's kind of like a RPG beat 'em up thing. You play with friends. They got more information about that, so definitely go check that out. New information about a Fallout 76 DLC with werewolves. Hi-Fi Rush Arcade Challenge update was announced. It's like a new mode in Hi-Fi Rush. I forgot about that game. When I saw this, I was like, man, I really liked that game. And I never finished it. I gotta go back to it. We learned that Phasmophobia is coming to consoles. Early access in August. I've never played that. Did you ever get into that one?
No.
I've watched countless videos of people being scared shitless in that, but
Yeah. It was big for a minute there.
Try it. It was. There's some information about Exoprimal, about some of the modes coming to that one. I watched some more trailers with the Exoprimal, and I don't know about this one. This is the one where you're like a robot guy that shoots dinosaurs, and they come in waves.
Dinosaurs and portals.
Yes. And I'm like, I don't know. And then I saw there's a beta that starts June 16th that it's an open beta. You can try it. And I'm like, I'm going to try it. I'm going to see what that's all about. But I'm very, I need to play it to understand what the hell it is. There's a game called Go Mecha Ball. It's a twin stick shooting mech that can turn into a ball of death. We got some information about that. Hellblade 2, they showed more motion capture technology. If we didn't get enough during the first 45 minutes during the showcase. This is a game that I thought you would be into. Lightyear Frontier. Did you watch this trailer?
Yeah.
It seems so like incredibly unnecessary. First of all, it's like a resource game where you have to build like a settlement and stuff like that. But also, like, you just do it in mechs for no reason other than It looks cool. I don't know why. I was waiting for, like, the mechs to, like, fight something or do something in this trailer. But no, they're just out there exploring.
I think it's more realistic. I mean, who can carry a watering can to do, like, hundreds of plots of fields in real life? But all those Harvest Moon games, so unrealistic.
That's a good point. You need mechs. But, yeah, that comes out early 2024. And then, they talked about 10 new games coming to Game Pass. And I was really excited because a lot of really great games. They didn't say when these are coming, but in the future, when they release. Another Crab's Treasure, Little Kitty, Big City, Tectonica, Sea of Stars, Harold Halibut, Galactic Care, Neon White, Minico's Night Market, The Bookwalker, and The Wandering Village. 2 of those. Minico's Night Market, my wife has been waiting patiently for 46 years. And then Neon White, I have been waiting for a sale since that first came out only to Nintendo Switch. Now it's out on consoles, and soon I will have it on Game Pass. So I'm excited for that.
There you go.
Yeah. So that was everything that they showed at this extended gameplay. Speaking of Xbox, though, have you seen this Starfield drama about
controversy?
Controversy, yes. So, was it Todd Howard? Is that his name?
Yeah.
Talked about how the game is running, and basically just said that it's locked on console, 30 frames per second, because let's see, what's the quote? Always these huge open worlds, fully dynamic, hyper detail, where anything can happen. We do want to do that. It's 4K in the X. 1440 on the S. We do lock it at 30 because we want that fidelity. We want all that stuff. We don't want to sacrifice any of it. Fortunately, in this one, we've got it running great. It's often running way above that. Sometimes it's 60, but on the consoles, we do lock it because we prefer the consistency where you're not even thinking about it. So, thoughts?
Something's got to give. One way or the other. It's not because they hate you as a consumer that they need to lock it to 30. It's got to give in one way or the other. So do you want a less good game in every other way than the frame rate, or do you want to lower the frame rate a little bit so that the game is better overall? That's the trade-off I see when you're dealing with like console.
Absolutely. I 100% agree with that. Some people can't see that, though. They just want... I saw comments that said, I'll play it at 720p if I can run it at 60 frames per second. And it's
Maybe like 1080p. I understand that. Let you downgrade it a little bit and higher frame rate.
yeah, I mean, take a look at like Tears of the Kingdom right now. That does at 30 frames per second, you know, and people are not having any issues with that. It's like you got to break yourself of this need to have that 60 FPS in a game because it's not a bad experience. Once you get in there and play it, you know, you adjust to that rate and you immerse yourself in the world around you.
Yeah,
And like you said, for them to have this huge world, this is what needs to happen.
yeah. And I can almost guarantee you that there are people with like 1080p screens that can barely do more than, 30 to 60 hertz refresh rate who are not going to notice or care about the 30 frames per second.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm one of those people that like I never notice unless it's explicitly pointed out to me. Like I could play a game, whatever, and it is what it is to me, whatever. But just one more quote. He said, "We don't ever want to sacrifice that experience that makes our games feel really, really special. So it feels great. We're really happy with how it feels, even in the heat of battle, and we need that headroom because in our games, really anything can happen." So like, I mean, they played it and it runs great and they're happy with it. Like, shit, it's a Bethesda game. We gotta take what we can get with these. And speaking of that part, though, they also said that this is the least bugs that any Bethesda game has ever had right now. So, that's exciting.
Yeah. Come on, though. Like, the bug is something that you're not supposed to know about when the game comes out. It's something that comes up when a million people adopt this game all of a sudden, and they start to notice these things. So how he could confidently say that is beyond me.
Wow, this comes from a guy over there says, "We have an awful lot of people internally playing Starfield, working with Todd and the team. I see bug counts, and just by the numbers, if it shipped today, Starfield would already have the fewest bugs of any Bethesda game ever shipped." Xbox boss Phil Spencer said, "We have every QA person in our entire company playing Starfield right now, looking at bug counts, looking at the quality of where we are." So yeah, and they still got 3 months to find more bugs.
Wouldn't they have said that for every single game that came out, though, or did they ship games with known bugs?
Yeah, I don't know. I think they know. They know what's happening. They know what the consensus is. So, yeah. All right. Enough about Starfield, about Xbox. Let's keep talking about some of these new announcements. We also had the Ubisoft showcase, just real quick. It was mostly Assassin's Creed. They did show a little bit more of that new Star Wars game, so that was pretty cool. And Avatar, the new Avatar game, Frontiers of Pandora, finally got a release date, December 7th. I don't know if people are still going to be talking about Avatar then, but the trailer looks dope. I'm in. I love it. Are you an Avatar fan? The world of Avatar?
Not exactly. I didn't watch the second movie.
Yeah. No, I haven't watched it either. But like that world, man, I'm down with walking around that. There's cool animals and weird things. I get to put my hair in someone's tail. And then they showed the Crew Motor Fest. It's got a release date of September 14th. There's an open beta coming up for X Defiant. This is the new version of that. Hopefully, that's good. I'm gonna check it out. What is it? It's like a first-person arena shooter. It looks good. There's a Skull and Bones closed beta coming in August. Bunch of other stuff. So if you have any more interest in Assassin's Creed, definitely go check out that Ubisoft showcase. And then the Capcom showcase, not much major announced for that. They talked about a new Ace Attorney coming out. They showed more Dragon's Dogma. They indefinitely delayed Pragmata, which we haven't heard much about. So I don't know. I never thought that was good. So yeah, not much coming out of Capcom. That was pretty weak considering they had a lot going for them. So I expected more to come out of that. Anything you saw that we didn't talk about?
Well, I didn't know about that Pragmata game, but I saw the trailer, the early teaser. It's all CGI stuff, not like gameplay, but it seems like an interesting concept. I mean, it's not the first game. Yeah, it sort of follows that idea of like grown man carries a kid around on his back, sort of Norman Reedus. It's been done before in different iterations, but
Sure.
it could be cool from a gameplay standpoint.
Yeah, I agree. But yeah, who knows, man? When they say indefinitely with anything, it's really it's not good. Not good. Speaking of not good, let's talk a little bit about Embracer Group. I mean, we've talked about them before. The video game empire that they've been building. What is it? They've got THQ Nordic, Plaion, Saber Interactive, Gearbox, Middle Earth Enterprises, Dark Horse Media, Coffee Stain, Crystal Dynamics, Eidos Montreal, Asmodee, Amplifier, Deep Silver. That's so. There's more. There's other companies that they own. But they've fallen on a bit of a hard time. So what had happened was, this was last month. They talked about they had a verbal commitment for a major deal to that would bring in $2 billion in revenue over the next 6 years. That they had that ready to go up until the day before it was set to close, it fell through. And they've been kind of just trying to figure things out since. And now we're finally seeing, the fallout from that. So an open letter, CEO Lars Wingefors sent it out to their staff of 17,000 that Embracer will decrease spending across the board, reduce third-party publishing, and put greater focus on internal IP and increase external funding of large budget games. He said, this morning we announced a restructuring program across the Embracer Group that will make us a leaner, stronger, and a more focused, self-sufficient company. Embracer currently engages close to 17,000 people, and while that number will be lower by the end of the year, it is too early to give an exact forecast on this. It is painful to see talented team members leave. Our people are what make up the very fabric of Embracer. I understand and respect that many of you will be worried about your own position, and I don't have all the answers to all questions. I want to be clear that the decision about this program were not taken lightly. He said, Embracer will now start a thorough review process for investments in new game development projects. And he warned the company will have an increased focus on accountability across the group, ensuring performance is in line with or exceeding current targets. So he concluded that as difficult as some of the decisions we will take over the coming weeks and months will be, we are doing this because we are confident that we will emerge a stronger, more efficient company, setting out on a stable future to build even greater value across our many studios and fantastic portfolio of IPs. So, yeah, man, the shoe has finally, for weeks, months, we were talking about, Embracer Group bought another studio. And as I was reading about this, you could take a deeper dive into seeing more about what they're doing if you have interest. And if it sounds interesting to you, I definitely recommend it, because it's interesting. Their business plan right from the start was to just get all these assets that they could, and then slowly start to make them profitable. And what they found out is that, including this $2 billion thing that really jammed them up, that these games aren't as easy to just churn out as they were hoping they were. So a ton of the games that they had planned, expecting to make them profit, were delayed or are still not even out. So the whole thing's interesting, and I'm interested to see where they tighten up and what happens. It's unfortunate for all the employees of these studios and stuff, but we'll just have to wait and see.
Yeah, growing up, being a bit of a gamer, I always thought it would be like a dream to work in the games industry, to make video games. But the more we report on this stuff in this show, I'm glad I avoided that with a 100-foot pole.
Right.
It seems like a nightmare. You never know when a studio is going to shut down, when somebody's going to buy it and shut it down, when somebody's going to buy it and completely flip the thing on its head.
Yeah.
Not great.
Even when studios finish games, they'll, instead of moving them to different things, a lot of times they'll finish a game and they'll lay off the staff that completed the game. It's pretty crazy. But yeah, that's the life of a developer. But yeah, you never know where you're going to be getting your check from. So it's pretty crazy. So Embracer, they still have games coming out this year. Remnant 2, Warhammer 40,000 Space Marine 2, Payday 3, Hot Wheels Unleashed 2, Arizona Sunshine 2, Alone in the Dark, Homeworld 2, or Homeworld 3, and more. So, there's a lot still coming out from them. And then they did say that the Tomb Raider game, Perfect Dark, over at Eidos were safe. They weren't cutting those at all. So, well, that's good. But yeah, we'll have more, I'm sure, as it, as Embracer Group kind of figures out what they want to focus on, what they need, and kind of slim down, tighten up. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
All right, next up, PlayStation Plus has revealed the PlayStation Plus games catalog for the extra and premium tiers of PlayStation Plus for June. Some big games coming out, and they are Rogue Legacy 2, Far Cry 6, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, Shredder's Revenge, Inscription Solstice, Tacoma, Deus Ex, Mankind Divided, Killing Floor 2, Lonely Mountains Downhill, Vampire the Masquerade, Coteries of New York, 100 Days Winemaking Simulator, A Hat in Time, Carto Forager, Dodgeball Academia, The Wild at Heart, Redout 2, Thief, MX vs. ATV Legends, Paw Patrol Mighty Pup, Save Adventure Bay, My Friend Peppa Pig, DC League of Super Pets, The Talos Principle Deluxe Edition, and Elix 2. And then coming to PlayStation Premium, Killzone, Liberation, Worms, and Herc's Adventure. Some big titles there. And so Rogue Legacy 2, that's a day one release. This is the first time it's going to be on PlayStation consoles. So I'm excited to play that one. I played the first one on the Nintendo Switch many years ago, and I enjoyed it. So, yeah, good stuff. Far Cry. Every time there's a Far Cry comes on one of these, I'm like, this is when I play Far Cry.
Yeah.
Never happens.
Never. It's a little bit of a time devotement, but I say jump in there. Every one of them's a little bit different, but it's not hard to pick up, and it's a lot of fun in the process.
Yeah, this is the one with Giancarlo Esposito.
What game's he not in these days, then?
It's true. It's very true. But I am excited. I wonder if... So the Shredder's Revenge just had or is coming out with DLC. I'm wondering if they will... if you have to buy the DLC for that, if it would be included. I don't know how that works. But that's one I'll go back to and play that just to get the trophies. That's a fun game. So, yeah, good stuff coming. They're they're doing the thing. Now, this has been a year. It's been 1 year since this new service was in. I can't believe it's been a year already, dude. Like, just talking about F1 23 and this, like, man, we've been doing this for a year, over a year. So they're going to be coming out with like some giveaways, new free avatars, free wallpapers and stuff for the 1 year celebration. And then on top of that, they announced that PlayStation Plus Premium members are going to, some point in the near future, get cloud streaming for PlayStation 5 games. It's something that they're testing right now. So, that'll be cool. I don't have the premium tier, but I might if I could, play these games without downloading them. That's what I love about the Game Pass.
Yeah, and a few more AAA titles, a few more day one releases, and then get that functionality down with the cloud streaming. Mm-hmm. This will be very competitive with Game Pass, and I think that's what PlayStation needs.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, the third-party games that they're coming out and they're putting on here, some great titles. Stuff that I've been wanting to play. And yeah, they just, like you said, just some new day one releases, put them out there. They did, I was just reading an article today talking about how they do not plan on putting their first party games onto the service, how Xbox does. They said their plan right now with the way they're releasing them is working, and they are continuing to just do that. So, all right, and last up, the Microsoft Activision merger has finally gone through. Is not something we'll be saying anytime soon. The U.S. Federal Trade Commission has filed a request for an injunction as well as a restraining order to prevent the deal from closing. So, what happened was they said press reports began circulating suggesting that defendants were seriously contemplating closing the proposed acquisition despite the pending administrative litigation and the CMA orders. Basically, they got wind that Microsoft, Activision were like, let's just do it. We won't tell anybody. And they were going to elope, basically. And so the FTC filed for a restraining order, which would have been, I think, like a week-long or 2-week-long thing to stop anything from happening. And then also an injunction, which is a bit of a longer thing to stop them from carrying out with closing this deal. Just this whole thing is crazy to me. Just the fact that, like, after all we've talked about this, going through the things and, you know, getting approval, that they could, all this time, they could have just been like, you know what, we're going to do it anyways. That blew my mind when I read that. Yeah. What's the whole point?
This is it's a beast to keep up with this. I thought that we were kind of past the U.S., kind of past the FTC. Not that they had officially ruled anything, but we talked about the FTC giving them a hard time before, and that sort of, I don't know, fizzled out. And then we were on to talking about, like, oh, it's approved in China. It's not approved in Japan. And then most recently the UK.
Yeah. Yeah, so the most recent thing that came out of this, the federal judge overseeing the case has temporarily blocked the deal until the FTC's request for an injunction can be ruled on. So now Microsoft has until June 16th to make its case, while regulators have until June 20th to respond. A hearing will then take place on June 22nd, with Microsoft prohibited from closing the acquisition of Activision Blizzard until at least 5 days after a ruling is issued. So now we're waiting for a ruling on the injunction. So, I don't know. There's so many words that I'm learning here. I'm learning so much. Basically, the injunction would block the deal until the FTC's legal challenge is completely resolved. So currently, Microsoft has a hearing with the FTC scheduled for August 2nd about the deal, but the agency is clearly concerned that the tech giant may not wait around to address its reservations about the acquisition. So, yeah, crazy stuff. I'm over it.
Yeah. I mean, where do you stand on the whole thing? Do you want Microsoft to succeed in the acquisition, or?
I do. I don't think there's. I mean, so the big deal that we've talked about before, what the CMA brought up, is about the cloud gaming. I don't think there is a big enough issue with, that would affect consumers. Now, I don't know the ins and outs of this, specifically the cloud gaming. But I mean, we've talked about it so much, and I've gone back and forth on it too. But ultimately, I don't know. I don't think it will affect consumers drastically enough to block this. But that's why I'm not getting paid the big bucks to decide on this.
Well, I'm in agreement with you. I mean, at least for the next 10 years when they're making all these promises to the other,
that's true.
Consoles. I don't think it's such a bad thing. Of course, that hinges around the fact that we're both big fans of Game Pass and what they're doing with that. And there are people who would call us idiots just, on that aspect alone. So this would just be furthering those feelings, I think.
Yeah. But, and I mean, I've never been like a fan of, like, I've always been like a Sony guy, and down with Xbox. But like, on the business side of it, like, I don't know. I feel like, I don't know. I think it's fine. These words are going to come back to bite me though, when, like, years from now, when, Activision, Blizzard, Microsoft, or whatever the hell they're called, is like just the worst tyrant. Games are $100, and they're like, ha ha.
Here's the headline: Microsoft cancels Overwatch 3.
Yeah, at this point, who gives a turkey? Did we talk about? Oh no, we didn't talk about it. I just found out. So they showed them Overwatch 2 like trailer and the Xbox thing, and for like the upcoming content, and I was like, oh, I might jump back in there to give it a shot. You have to pay for that. It's like $15 to pay for like this upcoming PvE, and that's, dude, they're just nickel and diamond. It's crazy, and it's like Diablo 4. Luckily, is not. It's great. No issues there. So, I want to hate on them so badly, but they're doing something right. But yeah, I was annoyed when I read that. All right, I think that's it. You got anything else you want to talk about?
Nah, that's a long one as it is. We better let the people rest their ears.
I need to rest my poor little tongue. That beer didn't help much, and I do feel like I'm starting to slur. Am I starting to slur? Not because I'm drunk, but because I'm like a little.
Sounding like Susie Brady over there.
Half my tongue's hanging off. It's a weird thing. All right, thank you so much for checking out this episode of Gaming News Weekly. You can find our show, like I said, on YouTube at Pop Culture Playground. You can find it on Fruit Lab. It's a good place to go. You could watch tons of awesome gaming content and earn cryptocurrency while you do it. So it's a lot of fun. Or anywhere you get podcasts, you can listen to the audio version of this show. You can find my stuff at Pop Culture Playground on YouTube or on Fruit Lab under E-Rock the Red. You can also check out Full Clip over on YouTube at GameFAQs. He's also on Twitch, FullClip_FL. And he's also on Fruit Lab, Full Clip in it. You know what I mean? And that's all I got. I occasionally post stuff on TikTok, but I haven't been I just haven't been in the mood. I've been too busy playing video games. Is that a problem? Should I be less playing games and more putting out content? As co-host of this show, am I messing up, dude?
No, I don't think so. I mean, it one feeds off the other. You got to play the games if you want to make the show.
It's true. It is true, and I do like some of the work. Like I cut out like some of the clips and stuff, and then I just never get around to like editing them and putting them up because I'm too busy playing Diablo. I'm just trying to like get this dungeon done so I can get some new. My bear needs to have new stuff. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
I'm glad you know what I mean. Also, speaking of you know what I mean, I've listened back to the show. I say you know what I mean a lot. It's like one of my crutches. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah. I sound like... you remember Ernest? It might have been before your time.
Yeah. Like Ernest Goes to Jail.
Yeah.
How you doing, Vern?
Yeah, he always say, know what I mean?
Yeah, know what I mean?
I'm like the new Ernest.
Yeah.
All right. That's everything. Let's get out of here. All right, we'll see you next week. Bye-bye.